أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وإيمانا وفقها في الدين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وتجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا يا رب العالمين. باب صلاة الجنازة. قال المؤلف رحمه الله: باب صلاة الجنازة. وصلاة الجنازة فرض على الكفاية، وأركانها 4: النية، و4 تكبيرات، والدعاء بينهن، والسلام، ويدعو بما تيسر. So this chapter is a chapter on funeral prayer. So the author only mentioned the ruling concerning funeral prayer. He didn't mention rulings regarding funeral rite, right? Okay, but before we start reading, I would like us to have a brief discussion on the importance of funeral prayer, okay, and then some rulings that we need to know about funeral or about funeral rites. So funeral prayer, first of all, we have to understand, as he mentioned here, وَصَلَاةُ الْجَنَازَةِ فَرْضٌ عَلَى الْكِفَايَةِ. It is the ruling of a funeral prayer is fardu kifaya. It's a collective responsibility, right? A communal obligation. Okay, so meaning if a group among the community pray upon the deceased, right? The rest who did not pray will not be sinful. But if all of them fail to pray on the deceased, then they are all sinful. Okay, so one of the importance, or one of the importance of this rite is that this prayer is that you have to first understand it's the right of that dead person, that deceased person, because the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith of Abu Huraira radiyallahu anhu, حق المسلم على المسلم 6: right? إذا لقيته فسلم عليه، وإذا دعاك فعجبه، وإذا استنصحك فانصحه، وإذا عطس فحمد الله فشمته، وإذا مرض فعده، وإذا مات فأتبع. So here, فإذا مات, so he said there are 6 things that it's a duty of a Muslim upon another Muslim. So one of these 6 things is that when a Muslim falls sick, the brother or a sister should pay him a visit, and also when the person die, you should pray on him and then follow his janaza, right, or escort him to the graveyard. So it's a right of a believer, right, upon another believer. Okay, so it's a right. So even though it's a collective responsibility, but individually it's a right. It's our right, a person's right on us to do, right? And then secondly, also this prayer, when we observe this prayer, we get reward of qirat. Qirat, it's a unit of measurement. They use as a unit of measurement. And then the Prophet ﷺ tried to give us a picture of what qirat, the weight of qirat, and he said 1 qirat is equal to the mountain of Uhud. Yeah, a mountain in Medina, right? So it's a big mountain. So just imagine if it's even a small mountain, you have a reward for praying on the deceased. You have a reward of qirat equal to qirat for just praying on a deceased, right? So it's a great reward. And also when you in the prayer, you pray for him, and then as we said, praying for a person you also what? When you pray for someone, the angels what? The angels also what? Pray for you. So it's what? It's one of the virtuous prayer that's carry a great reward. Okay. So now let's look at some few issue about a person who is on his sick bed about to die, you know. So what do you do? Because this has to do with the Salat al-Janaza. So the author did not mention how to how to prepare the dead, you understand, in terms of bathing him, and also in terms of what? Shrouding him, and also preparing him. The author did not mention them because, of course, this chapter is what? Under Salat al-Janaza. So he only discussed the Salah, only the Salat al-Janaza. But there are certain things that we have to know, at least, even though it's in the elementary level, but at least we should know certain things about janaza. So if we say janaza is janaza means janaza could mean it has a broad, expansive meaning, a broad meaning. So janaza could mean the dead person, right? And it could also mean the proceedings, the preparation of the funeral rite, right? Bathing him, shrouding him, and then burying. It's also what? Janaza. You understand? So, and also the event of that someone has passed on is also known as what? As janaza. All right. So this is the meaning of what? Of janaza. And also now, when let's say a family member is on his deathbed and is sick, about to die, right? What do you do as a relative, as someone close to him at that time? There are certain things that the Sunnah recommend us to do. Okay, so when you are with such person and you realize that this person can't survive this particular situation, looking at the person's the pain the person is going through, or the person's current situation, looking at it, you can tell that the person will not survive this. So in this case, you don't have to You don't have to engage in the person in unnecessary conversation. Okay, what do? You make sure that you keep repeating La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah, for the person to see that. So this is talqeen. So when you say this, it means that you are trying to have the person make this kalima, this statement, the person's last statement. Because the Prophet said, Man kana akhir kalamihi la ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah. Whoever say La ilaha illallah as a last statement before death, the person will be in Jannah, or will be admitted in Jannah. You get it? So that's what we should do, and then we should not be with the person and engage in any unnecessary argument or conversation with the person. And it's also recommended to recite any part of the Quran close to the person's shoulder, something like that. You sit and then recite silently. You get it? And it's also good. And it's also good that the person will be in a very clean dress, and also in a very clean state, not in the state of impurity. Okay, because here it's the angels that will be coming to the person, right? And all these play a role if the person is in the state of purity, with valid ablution, without any major impurity, without impurities on the dress. Okay, so we make sure that all this, the person is pure, meaning he's clean, spiritually clean, without any major impurities or minor impurities. Okay, and also the person's dress should also be clean. Okay, and then the person with major impurity should not also what, get close to the person. Okay, and then also a woman with in a menses should not also what, be close to that person. You understand? Unless if it is what, a necessity that she has to be there, right? Because why? Because of the angels. You get it? Because of the angels, and also because of the word that the talqin, you know, you have to be repeating la ilaha illallah to make sure that the person end with what, the last statement be la ilaha illallah. You get it? So this is it, and then after the soul has departed, there are certain things that we should also do if we are close to the person. So here, when a soul is departing or leaving leaving the body, what happened? The eyes, the person will be looking at the soul. Whilst it departs from the body. Okay, so when the soul completely departs from the body, what will happen? You will see the eyes looking at where the soul was going, right? Because the soul will ascend, so the eyes will be looking at it. So you see the person's eye will be open. So what do? You just wipe or rub on the person's face to close the eyes. Because when you leave it for some time, it can be closed again. Okay, so immediately after the soul has departed completely, then you rub on the eyes or the face, you rub on the face like this so that the eyes will close. You get it? And then also you place something light, not so heavy, on the stomach. Okay, on the stomach, so that all that the person has eaten can come out, and also the stomach will not be bloated. You get it? Yeah. Yeah. So, and then also regards to the preparation, this is a very this so elementary level. So we will not mention anything. So let's move on to the Salat al-Janaza. So he said, and then also before we start reading the Salat al-Janaza, we have two ways of praying this Salat al-Janaza, and all according to our madhab. Okay, according to the first madhab, and then some scholars of Medina, they said that with the Salat al-Janaza, you recite Fatiha, and that's after the first takbir, and then the second takbir you salute the Prophet, and then the third takbir, after the third takbir, you pray on the deceased. You pray for the deceased. Okay, and then you supplicate for the deceased, and then after the fourth takbir, if you want, you pray for yourself and pray for the ummah, or if you also want, after the takbir, you say salam. Okay, so that's according to some scholars of Medina, and according to the other scholars, they said that they dislike reciting Fatiha in Salat al-Janaza, right? So in Salat al-Janaza, what do? You make your intention. You after the first takbir, you pray, right? You praise Allah and then salute the Prophet and then pray. Any prayer, you pray for the deceased. The second, after the second, so they've recommended a certain dua. We will read it. Dua after the first takbir, and then the same dua after the second takbir, and then the same dua after the third takbir, and then after the fourth takbir, then you pray for what? You pray for yourself and then for the You get it? So these are the two ways, or the two ways of praying Salat al-Janaza. Right? But it all has 4 takbirat. You get it? But the second one is the madhab of Imam Malik himself. he don't recite Fatiha in what? In Salat al-Janazah. You get it? And all according to what? According to the tradition that they inherited in Medina. You get it? So after the first takbir, you say a dua. The second takbir, you say a dua. After the third takbir, you say dua for the deceased, all for the deceased. And then after the fourth takbir, you what? You pray for yourself and for the ummah. And then they said that the Prophet ﷺ, إِذَا صَلَّيْتُمْ عَلَى الْمَيِّتِ فَأَخْلِصُوا لَهُ الدُّعَى. When you pray on a deceased in the Salat al-Janazah, pray sincerely for the what? For the deceased. Right? When you pray Salat al-Janazah, supplicate sincerely for the what? For the deceased. Okay, so they are saying that, okay, since the Prophet said that, then majority of what we say in that salah should be what? A prayer for the what? For the deceased. You get it? So they dislike while reciting Fatiha. And then some companions also reported that the Prophet did not recite Fatiha. He just prayed. He supplicated for the deceased. Okay, so all these two mazhabs are based on what? Based on reports from the Sahabas. You get it? So here the Imam used the second madhab, those who don't recite Fatiha in Salat al-Janazah. That's what the Imam, the author, used. Okay, but here, of course, we are used to reciting Fatiha after the first takbir, and also after the second takbir, saluting the Prophet, and after the third takbir, we pray on the deceased, and then after the fourth, we pray for ourselves and then for the ummah. This is what we are, and then it's also according to a school of thought, a madhab, in Maliki, according to some scholars in the Maliki madhab. You get it? Okay. And this Imam Ibn Abdul Barr mentioned it in his book Al-Kafi fi Fiqh al-Madina. Yeah, a renowned book and a reliable book in that madhab, one of the references in the Maliki school of thought. Okay, so he said, وَصَلَاةُ الْجَنَازَةِ فَرْضٌ عَلَى الْكِفَايَةِ. So here he's giving us the ruling of what? Of praying Salat al-Janazah. It's what? It's a communal obligation. Right? It's a collective obligation, right? So, Salat al-Jum'ah, what is the ruling of Salat al-Jum'ah? Is it Fard Kifaya or Fard Ayn? Salat al-Jum'ah? Salat al-Jum'ah? So, Fard Kifaya is what? It's a collective responsibility, meaning if some people pray, and participate or partake in that prayer, then it will not be sinful on others. And then the others who did not pray to will know what? They don't have to make it up. That's Fard Kifaya. But Fard Ayn, it's what? Obligatory upon every individual. So like the 5 daily prayer is what? Obligatory upon Fard Ayn. It's obligatory upon every individual. Salatul Jum'ah is obligatory Fard Ayn. You get it? So Salatul Jum'ah is not Fard Kifaya. It's Fard Ayn. And also Salatul Jum'ah, Fard Ayn, 5 salawat, the 5 daily prayer, Fard Ayn. So Salat Tarawih, no, Salat Tarawih, it's neither Fard Kifaya nor Fard Ayn. No, it's an optional prayer. It does not fall under these two. It does not. This is an optional prayer, right? So now, even if the entire ummah decide to leave Salat al-Tarawih, they are not sinful. Why? Because it's an optional prayer. You get it? But the entire ummah cannot say, okay, we want to leave Salat al-Jum'ah for it. They are all sinful. Everyone will be sinful, and then they also will be sinful. Same as what? Salat al-Janazah. You get it? So it's a collective obligation, meaning it is obligatory upon the community or the society. If a group from the society partake in it, the rest will know what to be sinful. But if all of them fail to to partake in it, they will be sinful. How? Let's say there's a dead person, right? And then people said, okay, we will not pray on him. We will not observe the funeral prayer on him. And they did not do it. So they will all be sinful. Right? They will all be sinful. But if some group, let's say some group among them said, okay, if you not do it, fine, we will do it. And they went and do it. They prayed on him. So here, the rest will not be sinful. Why? Because some group among them have prayed on him. Right? So a friend called and asked me that there was a brother who died. Okay. And then the imam of that community said he will not pray on him. Right? He will not lead any Salat al-Janaza on this deceased. Why? He said people said that they have not been seeing him praying, and then they only saw him twice in the masjid. Yeah, so because of that, they are saying he's not a Muslim and they will not pray for him. All right. So with this, of course, this since you've seen him twice in the masjid, yes, yeah, he's a Muslim. I understand. So that's it. And so here, if a group of, but here the Imam convinced the rest not to pray. Because the Imam said he will not pray on him. The rest said they also what? They also not pray on him, since the Imam said he will not pray on him. Right. So all of them are sinful. In this case, all of them are sinful. You get it? So, like that. So, وصلاة الجنازة فرض على الكفاية وأركانها أربعة. So here it has what? Salat al-Janaza, funeral prayer has what? 4 arkan. Right? So meaning if one of these 4 arkan is missing, the salah is not what? It's not complete. You get it? So these are what? These are the pillars. These are the arkan. Obligatory act of what? Salat al-Janaza. So the first is what? An-Niyyah. You have to what? You have to make your niyyah that you are going to pray on this deceased, the one in front of you. So you have to make that niyyah. And also wa arba takbirat, 4 takbirat that we say, it's also what? It's also a rukun. So if we make 3 takbirat, it's not what? It's not valid. Right? If you make 3 takbirat, it's not valid. But if we make 5 takbirat out of forgetfulness, it's what is valid. Let's say that the Imam is leading, and then after the 4th takbir, he forgot and then made what? The 5th takbir. But the followers should know what? Should not do the takbir. So in Salat al-Janaza, they can what? They can say Assalamu alaikum before the Imam, when the Imam forgetfully add the 5th takbir. When the Imam forgetfully add a 5th takbir, they can decide to what? To say salam even before the Imam. And then their prayer is valid. The Imam's prayer is also valid, since his takbir is out of forgetfulness. Do you get it? Yeah. وَالدُّعَاءُ بَيْنَهُنَّ. So dua, supplication after these takbirat, it's also what? Rukun. Right? So after the first takbir, you say dua. After the second takbir, the same dua. After the third takbir, the same dua. And after the 4th takbir, there's a different dua. Right? And then we will mention the dua that some scholars have what recommended. And then this dua that they recommended is also what? From the Sunnah. So he said, what? Du'a'u baynahunna. So dua between what? Between these takbirat. You get it? Wassalamu. And then salam, the taslim, the taslim is what? It's also rukun. You get it? It's also what? It's also rukun. So if a person perform all these arkan and then forget the taslim, the salah is what? The salah is not valid. You have to what? Repeat it. Okay. So wassalamu wa yad'u bima tayassar. And then he say here is explaining the dua. So the dua, you say the dua that you can, right? So the dua that these scholars recommended, it's not a must, right? It's not a must that in Salat al-Janaza you must say this dua. No, you get it. If you have any dua that you can say for the dead, you can read it. You get it. So here this the dua that they've recommended. So we will just read it and then see how it is. Okay. All right. So here, واستحسن ابن أبي زيد في رسالته. So here there is a renowned scholar of the madhab of Malik. His name is what? Abu Zayd, right? Ibn Abi Zayd, right? So he recommended this dua in funeral prayer. And then if saying that he recommended doesn't mean that it's not from the Sunnah or he it's a dua from himself. No, it's a dua from the Sunnah of the Prophet. You understand? So here he's saying that okay, the Prophet has made a lot of dua or many different dua in Salat al-Janaza. But I recommend this. Do you get it? So he said, واستحسن ابن أبي زيد في رسالته أن يقول الحمد لله الذي أمات وأحيا والحمد لله الذي يحيي الموتى له العظمة والكبرياء والملك والقدرة والثناء وهو على كل شيء قدير. So this is the first one. All this is what praises and then glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he continued. Then you see Salat ala Nabi. You get it? Okay. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت ورحمت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. So after this, then there was another dua. So he said, اللهم إنه عبدك وابن عبدك وابن أمتك أنت خلقته ورزقته وأنت أمته وأنت تحييه وأنت أعلم بسره وعلانيته جئناك شفعاء فشفعنا فيه اللهم إنا نستجير بحبل جوارك له إنك ذو وفاء وذمة اللهم قه من فتنة القبر ومن عذاب جهنم اللهم اغفر له وارحمه واعف عنه وعافه وأكرم نزله ووسع مدخله واغسله بالماء والثلج والبرد ونقه من الذنوب والخطايا كما ينقى ثوب الأبيض من الدنس وأبدله دارا خيرا من داره وأهلا خيرا من أهله وزوجا خيرا من زوجه اللهم إن كان محسنا فزد في إحسانه وإن كان مسيئا فتجاوز عن سيئاته اللهم إنه قد نزل بك وأنت خير منزول به فقير إلى رحمتك وأنت غني عن عذابه اللهم ثبت عند المسألة منطقة ولا تبتليه في قبره بما لا طاقة له به وألقه بنبيه وألحقه بنبيه محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم لا تحرمنا أجره ولا تفتنا بعده. So here till here the dua ends here. So from where we started, Thana ala Nabi, Thana ala Allah, and then the Salat ala Nabi, and after that you pray for the deceased. All that from that place till here is what the dua. You understand? So, and then this dua you say it after every takbir, after the first takbir, the second takbir, and the third takbir. You can see the dua is what is it's very long. You get it? The dua is what is very long, but mashallah, if a person is able to say this dua for the deceased, mashallah, it's a very good dua. You get it? It's a very good dua. Both for the deceased and then for those praying. You get it? So, and he said, تقول ذلك بإثر كل تكبيرة وتقول بعد الرابعة. So here, the dua that we read, you see that after what? After every takbir, the first takbir, the second takbir, and the third takbir. For the fourth takbir, there's another dua. Yes, for the fourth takbir, there's another dua that's what he has recommended. So he said, وتقول بعد الرابعة. After the fourth takbir, what do you see? اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وحاضرنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا إنك تعلم متقلبنا ومثوانا واغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولمن سبقنا بالإيمان مغفرة عظمى وللمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإيمان ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإسلام وأسعدنا بلقائك وطيبنا للموت وطيبه لنا واجعل فيه راحتنا ومسرتنا ثم تسلم. So here, this is the dua that you also want to see after the fourth takbir. You can see this also very long dua. But it's good. So this is the fourth one you pray. You see what for this? You see for this praying, the person praying for himself and also for the ummah. You understand? Yeah. Then,
okay, if maybe you are on the view of the second scholars of this dua and you go to a community where they practice it first.
there's no problem. Just that you doing this will take time because those who recite Fatiha, for instance, when those who recite Fatiha, you say Allahu Akbar, the first takbir, then they will recite Fatiha and then be waiting for you to finish this long dua, So if you know that, let's say, you know that this community, they follow the what? The scholars who recite Fatiha in the first dua, in the first takbir, and Salat ala Nabi after the second takbir, and then, so you also do the same. You understand? So that you don't confuse people and also don't let people feel like what are we doing? Because if, let's say, after the first takbir, you are saying this dua, this long dua, of course, those reciting Fatiha will finish before you. Especially in Salat al-Janaza, people are kind of in race, After the first takbir, they don't want the second takbir to be said by the imam whilst they are still reciting. So what do? They recite fast. Okay, so just imagine people reciting fast, then you are still on this long dua, and then the imam is sleeping. So after the second dua, we repeat the same long dua. Okay, so if, let's say, you know that these people, after the first takbir, they recite Fatiha. After the second takbir, Salat ala Nabi. After the third takbir, they pray for the deceased. After the fourth, they pray for themselves and then for the ummah. You do what? You follow the same madhab. Since it's all correct and it's all part of the sunnah. You get it. So there's nothing wrong with it. But this if one can do it, say this dua, it's very good. It's very good because the dua is a very good dua. Yeah.
Question: when they go to the burial, do they pray before putting the person in the graveyard?
Yeah, they also pray. For a short time. After burying the person, they will stand and then pray for a while and then move.
Sometimes. Shouldn't they put the person before covering them with pray?
Yeah, after they cover the person completely, after burying the person completely, then they will pray. Yeah.
See, with that one, you can see this one.
Yes, you can say it. You can say this, you can say it in all instances when you go to greet the family of the deceased, or you are praying on the deceased, or you are at the graveyard. You can say all this. It's very rich. It's very good. It's very, very good. Yeah. I hope it's clear. Okay.
Check which page is that?
Huh?
Which page?
This 54. And he said, وَإِنْ كَانَتِ الصَّلَاةُ عَلَى امْرَأَةٍ قُلْتَ. So here this dua, he has the dua is for what? For a male deceased. Yes. Yeah, so like when, let's say you've attended a funeral prayer, right? And you were told that the deceased is what? Is a male. So then you see this down. But if it's the deceased is female, then the pronoun, of course, the pronouns that you use is what different. It said, وَاغْسِلْهُ بِالْمَاءِ وَالثَّلْجِ وَالْبَرَدِ وَنَقِّهِ مِنَ الذُّنُوبِ. He didn't say وَنَقِّهَا, right? So here it's a masculine pronoun or article. But if the deceased is female, then you use what? You use a feminine pronoun. You get it?
But so do we make dua for a person while using plural?
Yes, you use that because if the dua, if you say in Allahumma gfir lahu warhamhu wa akrim nuzulahu, this is for a male deceased. You can't use the same dua for a female. And you can't deceased, she's female, you can't, then you come and say Allahumma gfir lahu warhamhu. No, say Allahumma gfir laha warhamha wa akrim nuzulaha wa wasi' mudkhalaha. You get it like that. But a female, then you come and say Allahumma gfir lahu warhamhu. No, this dua you have to memorize it. You have to, yeah.
But she said you can use plural form too.
Yeah, if let's say you don't know, so the author will mention, in case you don't know, what dua do you say? How do you use it? I understand. So we get. So he said, وَإِنْ كَانَتِ الصَّلَاةُ عَلَى الْمَرْأَةِ قُلْتَ. If it's the disease is what? Feminine. It's a female. What do? You say, Allahumma innaha amatuk. Right? The previous one, Allahumma innahu abduk. Wabnu abdik. Here he said, Allahumma innaha amatuk. He didn't say innahu abduk. He said, innaha amatuk. ثم تتمادى بذكرها على التأنيث غير أنك لا تقول. So he said also, then the rest, you use the feminine pronoun or article. So, and then he said, there's only one place that you don't see if it's a female, especially a married woman who has died. So you don't say غير أنك لا تقول وأبدلها زوجا خيرا من زوجها وزوجا خيرا من زوجها لأنها قد تكون زوجا في الجنة لزوجها في الدنيا. Because in the previous day we say وأبدله دارا خيرا من داره وأهلا خيرا من أهله وأبدله زوجا خيرا من زوجه. Right? So here for the male, we pray that, oh Allah, requite him with what? With a home better than his home in this dunya, and a family better than his family in this dunya, and then a wife better than his wife in this dunya. But if the deceased is a female, a married woman, you don't say, oh Allah, requite her with what? You don't say, oh, requite her with a husband better than a husband. You get it? Because those married here, when they enter Jannah, they will continue their life there as couple. You get it? So you don't pray that. If you get it, but because it's a man, in a religion he can marry more than her. So in Jannah, it's also the same. Will have more than one wife. You understand? Even if he's married to 4 wives here in Jannah, you have Hurul Ain, except if you say, okay, he don't like Hurul Ain. And I don't know who will say that. You get it? So it's only this place that differ, aside the pronouns or the articles. Here you don't say what? grant her a husband better than her husband. You get it?
If it's plural, you ignore that.
If it's plural, yeah, you use plural. If let's say there are many, you use
Maybe the person is a woman. You don't know the gender.
yeah. If you don't know the gender, we'll come to that. So if you don't know the gender, he uses the word creation. Oh Allah, this is your creation. But you use feminine pronouns because the word creation in Arabic, nasama, here it's a feminine noun. So you use what? A feminine plural, a plural. But you are not referring to what? A female. You are referring to the word. So the word, yes, you know, this is the smartness of the fuqaha. So if the person that deceased is a male, it's still correct. You know, and then if the deceased is female, it's still correct. You get it? All right. So he said, وَنِسَاءُ الْجَنَّةِ مَقْصُورَاتٍ عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِنَّ لَا يَبْغِينَ بِهِمْ بَدِيلًا. So that's it. So a woman will always prefer what? A husband in dunya, in Jannah. You know, in Jannah, a husband in dunya, she still prefer him in what? In Jannah. You get it? وَإِذَا أَدْرَكْتَ جَنَازَةً وَلَمْ تَعْلَمْ أَذَكَرٌ هُوَ أَمْ أُنْثَى. If you come to partake in what? In a funeral prayer, you don't know the deceased, whether the deceased is a male or female. What do you do? So here he said, قُلْتَ اللهم إنها نسمتك. نسمتك, oh Allah, this is your creation. The word nasama, it's what? Nasamatuk, it's your creation. So the creation could be male or female. You get it? Yes. اللهم إنها نسمتك. ثم تتمادى بذكرها على التأنيث. Then you continue with what? With a feminine plural or feminine article throughout the dua. Because the word nasama, it's what? It's a feminine noun. You get it? All right. And then he said, ثم تتمادى بذكرها على التأنيث لأن النسمة تشمل الذكر والأنثى. Because the word nasama, it's what? It's general. It covers both male and what? And female. Okay. So وإن كانت الصلاة على الطفل, and then if the disease is what? Is a baby, right? What do you say? So there is dua also. He has what? Recommended, right? But you can pray any dua. But here this is what the recommended dua that the author, the Imam Ibn Abi Zayd recommended. So here he said, Takulu, if the disease is what? Is a baby. He said, Kulta ma taqaddama min an-niyyati wat-takbir wad-du'a. So you what? You still make sure you have your intention intact, the takbirat and then the dua. So the dua is what you said. غير أنه يستحب أن تقول بعد الثناء على الله والصلاة على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. So after you've praised Allah and glorify Him, and then after the salutation upon the Prophet, then you say, Allahumma innahu abduk. Right? So here you are saying, oh Allah, is what? This your servant. وَابْنَ عَبْدِكَ is what? The son of what? Of your servant. أَنْتَ خَلَقْتَهُ وَرَزَقْتَهُ وَأَنْتَ أَمَتَّهُ وَأَنْتَ تُحْيِي. You understand? You gave him life, and then you took back the life you provided for him. And also وَأَنْتَ تُحْيِي, and then you also bring him back to life. Right? So he said, اللهم اجعله لوالديه سلفا وذخرا وفرطا وأجرا وثقل به موازينهما وأعظم به أجورهما ولا تحرمنا وإياهما أجره ولا تفتنا وإياهما بعده. So this is the dua. This dua for what? For the parent. Right? This is the dua for the deceased, for the baby, and then also for the parent. Is it clear?
With the baby, doesn't matter whether I believe God. Because you use abduk.
Yeah, so it's still the same concept. So if it's a baby girl, then you say إنها أمتك. Right? And then the dua continued. He said, Allahumma alhiqu بصالح سلف المؤمنين في كفالة إبراهيم وأبدله دارا خيرا من داره وأهلا خيرا من أهله وعافيه من فتنة القبر ومن عذاب جهنم تقول ذلك بإثر كل تكبيرة. So you say this dua after what? After every takbir, right? وتقول بعد الرابعة, then after the fourth rak'ah, then you said اللهم اغفر لأسلافنا وأفرطنا لمن سبقنا بالإيمان اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإيمان ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإسلام واغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات ثم تسلم. Then you say what? You say the taslim. So how do you say the taslim? You say the taslim slightly. You just turn slightly to your right. You say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. That's it. Okay. So now, I mean, we said the obligatory is to say what? Assalamu alaikum. Right? So rahmatullah wa barakatuh, it's additional. That's additional reward. If you want to add it, if you want to, you want. So now, raising the hand. Do you raise your hand when saying Allahu Akbar or you don't? So here, in the first takbir, it's what? It's highly recommended you what? You raise. You say Allahu Akbar, you raise the hands, the takbir. But for the second and the third and the fourth, according to the prominent madhab, opinion in the madhab, you don't raise your hand. Right? But if you raise, there's no problem. But according to the prominent opinion in the madhab, you don't raise. Right? So you raise the first one, Allahu Akbar. The second one, Allahu Akbar. Third one, Allahu Akbar. The fourth one, Allahu Akbar. You don't have to raise. So now, let's say that the people, can you pray on two people with one prayer? Can you? You don't know. Okay. So now, let's say that you've attended a janazah prayer and there are many deceased, right? Like 3 or 4 people. If there's a difference in gender, let's say both male and female, then there's a way of what arrangement. You don't just put them all together and then pray on them. No, you have to arrange them. Now, if let's say there are two men and 2 women, so the two men will be the ones close to what? The imam, right? And then the women will be next to them. And then also if the deceased is a male, the imam will stand in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, in the middle of the deceased, right? Like close to the waist, something. Yeah. But if the deceased is a female, you will stand on what? On a shoulder, close to a shoulder. You get it? So let's say that the deceased, there are many. 2 men, 2 children, and then 3 women. Now, the men will be close to the imam. Then, if let's say the children are boys, they also be after the men in arrangement, like the roles in prayer. The men come before children and then before the women. So like that's the same arrangement. Okay. So you can pray one prayer, another prayer on what? On many deceased at once.
With that one, you use the plural.
Yeah, you use the plural. Yeah.
But say, is it recommended or is it good for? You are praying for one person, you use plural.
Yeah, there's no problem. But it's better you use singular because using plural in dua, it's showing kind of like, you know, a person I saying we. It means, you know, kind of, I don't know how to put it, but it's, I mean, in dua you have to be really humble. You don't use, you don't use plural pronouns for single person in the sight of Allah. You understand? You're seeking for less mercy, for less pardon for this disease, and you're using we. You get it? You use I. You even belittle yourself. You get it?
But you see, in English, when you're using plural, it's a sign of respect.
No, it's not a sign of respect. You know, like it depends. It depends on the speaker, right? Like a president speaking, he can't use I. He say we, right? A person of what, like a king, you know, they use. So Allah don't say I. Allah the creator. Inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha. Inna, he didn't say ana khalaqnakum. Ana khalaqtukum. He didn't say ana khalaq. Inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha. Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lah. So he used what? This plural for himself because he's what? He deserves. It's above all. You understand? So with this, it's like in Arabic we say damir al-azama to show to show your might, you know. But you're seeking for a less mercy and then pardon and then you're asking me for yes, yeah. I hope it's clear. Yeah. So any other question?
I said, if someone can do the dua for the female, I can do that of the male. Maybe the person has memorized for the male and do his yamana, and maybe in a community, in a small community, and a female die. Since he can't do for the female, is he supposed to do for the male? Like to use the male method, the pronoun for the male too, or he just
Well,
just do it in the local.
yeah. So if let's say a person, now a question, let's say this dua that you mentioned, a person saying, okay, me, I can't memorize this, I can't read this in Arabic. So what would the person do? So with such person, if you can't say any dua of this kind in Arabic, you say it in the language that you can speak. I understand, but it's better you learn this because it's a very rich in meaning. You get it? Because maybe the prayer that you pray will not be as beneficial to the deceased than this. You get it? So it's better you use it. That's why the author recommended this. And then it's part of the sunnah. The Prophet said all this. You get it? It's part of the sunnah. You get it? Yeah. I hope it's clear. Any question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So on the same question, maybe in the community, the only imam. You know, sometimes you have some imams that don't like the fact that maybe you see they don't know or something. And that's the only dua you can say. You can say for the new, you can say for the female. And that doesn't want to be like he's saying it, maybe he will not say it, and people will say it. The imam doesn't know how to pray for them. Probably preach like the way to recite for the boy, I mean to pray for
the men. Yeah.
Yes, he recites in that manner for the female, and afterwards maybe he specified his after that prayer he specified with another dua again. Prayed in local dialect to do. Is that recommended? I mean, is that okay?
So here, of course, it's good. You have to when you come to pray, you have to ask whether it's male or female. because they like to repeat the funeral prayer for the same person. Okay, so you ask, then you pray accordingly. But if you don't know, as the Imam mentioned, then you use what? You use a plural. You use, let's say, feminine, the word nasama, if you can memorize this dua. If you can, then you use plural. The plural. So, like using plural, not, of course, this would depend on your intention, because using instead of him, then using them, but not to show their might or their rank or something. No. It's just because you don't know the gender. You get it? And this, it's also acceptable linguistically. So you can do that.
But if the person is a king, you can still use
No. Of course, if if the person is a king, he has come to Allah, the King of Kings. So it's no more a king. You know, and a king seeking for forgiveness from another king. No. So yes, you use the singular pronoun. I understand, yeah. All right, so let's pause here, right? So the next chapter will be on fasting, but we will have another lesson on Salah again to discuss Salat al-Khawf and also Salat al-Istikhlaf. Right, Istikhlaf, it's related to Imamship, and then some other Salah, then we move on to fasting, inshallah. Okay, wa akhir da'wahum alhamdulillah.